Hey, what's poppin', guys? Sizzle here, and we're taking a look at one of the older cases in the game, the eSports 2013 case. Alright, and first off, we have the Famas Doom Kitty, which, yeah, it's got a bunch of, like, sketches or scribbles of, I guess those are, like, cat skulls? Guess that's what they're supposed to be. It actually looks kind of cool, just from a design standpoint. It's like someone sketched on, like, their Famas, which is like something you'd see in an actual, like, if I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there's like pictures of like planes and stuff with people in the military that like drew on them, and this kind of reminds me of that. The problem being it's really dark, so that's kind of hard to see, especially the first time through. You'd have to kind of look at the skin for a little bit to see the design, which is kind of a bad thing. And then also it's an old skin, and it's old Famas skin, so there's a lot of scratches on it. But luckily this skin is gray already, like the base design of like the sketch and everything are already gray, so the scratches are a lot less noticeable, and I do think it's a very kind of cool idea, and it kind of fits, well, so I could definitely see myself using this. I think it's actually a solid skin, so I'm gonna put this one in the C tier. I think it's okay, unless the lighting's really bad in game and it just doesn't look like this, but I can't really do anything if it's like that. Anyway, next up is the Mag7 Memento. Uh, and yeah, this is kind of like those like Windows XP screensavers with the tubes or whatever. It's like shapes made out of those. Some of them are orange for some reason. Some of them are gray. It's I can't say it's like horrible, and I can't even say it's bad. I mean, it looks okay, but it's nothing special. So for me, it's a D tier. It just I don't see a lot of reason to really use this one unless you maybe like orange and there's not an orange Mag7, but I think there probably is. Anyway, and we have the M4A4 Faded Zebra, and it's a faded like green almost. It's like a camo version of zebra. I just don't like this at all. It's definitely different from stock, so I know some people really like it, but for me it's a very low D tier. It's basically just a like a shit tier camo skin, in my opinion. And next up we have the sawed-off orange DD pet, and I'm not really the biggest fan of the DD pet design, especially just the basic one. But this is the basic DD pet, but with orange instead of like red or purple or pink or blue or whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, it's very basic DD pad skin. I'm not the biggest fan of DD pad skin, so for me it's a low D tier, if not F, because honestly this doesn't look that different from stock. That much, at least. Then we have the P250 Splash, which, I don't know why this has a Cato 14 sticker on it, but yeah, it's like a splash of paint coming off the front of the gun, and in-game it would still look pretty similar. And it goes on both sides, but not the front for some reason, which I feel is kind of a lack of attention to the skin. I feel like it should splash on the front as well, because that's how it would kind of splash on. I don't know. I think if it was orange in the front here, it's a very simple skin. Yeah, it's like gray with like a orange splash, but I think it looks great. I actually really like the look of this thing. If it have the orange thing on the front, which you never see in game, but if it did, it would be even better. I would actually put this probably as an A tier skin if it had that. But without that, it's just kind of the lack of attention to detail makes me bring this down to B tier. But I still do really like this skin, and if it wasn't pretty expensive for what it is, I'd probably pick one up. And next up, we have the Galil Orange GD Pet. And the same thing as the sawed off, except at least on this one, there's more of it on the skin. And for some reason, that actually makes it look a lot more nice to me. It kind of reminds me of like an underground city or something, and I'm not sure why, because there's nothing on here that should remind me of that. That's the kind of vibe I get from this, and for that, I'm just gonna put it in the C tier. I think it actually weirdly looks okay, despite me generally not liking DD pads. Then we have the AK47 Red laminate, and it's like the blue laminate but red. Um, I still prefer the default AK to this, so personally it's an F tier. But I can see why people would like this. I just prefer stock. I'd rather use stock than this. Then next up we have the Op Boom, Bish Bash Boss stickers. Uh, yeah, it's kind of a classic, just like an orange comic strip on the weapon, and you can get a lot of kind of funny words and stuff to show up on here. There's some pretty infamous ones out there. The only downside, obviously, is that the barrel, even the front, and even the scope are untouched on this weapon. I think they could have easily just colored those orange and kind of applied the design to that, and I think it would have looked a lot nicer, in my opinion. But even then, it's a very classic and iconic skin, and it just looks solid. You can't really go wrong with this whatsoever. I'd say it's probably the best thing we've seen so far, but I don't really know if I can justify putting it in A tier. And our final skin is the P90 Death by Kitty, and that's actually a really good application. That sticker fits the skin very well. But yeah, it's kind of the Death Kitty that we saw earlier, but a lot more vibrant and colorful. And despite this being pretty old, and this one's almost is like a field tested skin, it's surprisingly less scratched than I thought it would be. And you can still make out a lot of the stuff on the skin, and it's a very nice design. You can see like a crosshair in the one cat's eyes. I don't know if that's blood or what coming off the front there, but it's very unique. Every cat skull is different color and it's very vibrant, kind of pops out at you, and you can tell what it is though, and it's kind of the important part. I think it's actually a really nice looking skin. Not sure if I put in the A tier category, but the design, like I said for the Famas, the design of the cat skulls or whatever are pretty good. Um, yeah, that's it for this case. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at these skins as much as I did, and I'll see you in the next one.